Wow. Holy cow. What? How tall is he?
I think he's 8'1". I'm 6'1" or 6'2", around your height.
Yo.
Yeah. What do you think about him?
He is nasty. Oh my gosh. Yo, I need you to send me this
Yeah.
after this call, man. That's crazy. I don't even have advice for him. That wow.
Yeah.
After that, I'll go work out. So I work out like first thing in the morning every day.
Mhm.
Um, just because like I like getting it over with. uh, and then I get back. I do like my online coaching work, like
Mhm.
THP stuff, for probably
Mhm.
like 3 hours, I want to say. Uh,
That's pretty
evenings,
long.
yeah. Yeah, right now we have like quite a few clients, and then I do
Mhm.
all the kind of like accounting stuff, memberships,
Mhm.
all that. And then in the evening, I like to read a lot. I try to read like 1 or 2 hours, study as much as I can. Um, and then cook, and then the evenings is just hang out with my wife and my dog.
You cook by
But yeah.
yourself?
Yeah, I actually get we get delivered like fresh ingredients,
Oh,
and
okay.
then it's just a recipe you follow.
Right.
Yeah, because my diet used to be like so bad. So I just decided to do that. I don't have to go to the grocery store or anything. I can just like cook it right then and there.
Yeah, okay. So our it is on live right now, the podcast. So you want to
Okay, sweet.
introduce yourself a little bit to the
Yeah,
audience?
yeah, for sure. My name is Isaiah Rivera. I am a professional dunker. And I am also an online coach. I have my own training program, train guys how to jump higher. That's kind of the main thing I do. And yeah, dunking is my passion. I've been doing it now for professionally for about 6 years, and I've been dunking for 8 years. 24 years old right now. Got my first dunk at age 16. I also love playing basketball. I post a lot of like pickup games on my YouTube channel, and that was kind of my first passion. And yeah, I love to jump higher. That's my main thing. Just try to always jump higher.
So you mentioned that you had your first dunk at age 16, right?
Yeah.
So how was it like? I mean, like, what was the dunk? Is it one-hander, two-hander?
It was a one-hander. I didn't dribble the ball. I just kept it in my hand. At that time, it was a ball that I could palm. So I just kept it in my hand, went off of 2 feet, and I was able to get it in pretty cleanly. It was on my outdoor hoop, 10 feet, and it was at the time, it was the best day of my life.
So how tall were you back then?
I was, I don't remember my exact height. I was either 5'9" or 5'10". I think I was 5'9" when I got my first dunk. I was kind of
Right.
a, yeah, I was kind of a late bloomer. I didn't start growing like, I didn't start hitting my growth spurt till I was like 15. Age, I remember all my heights. 14 years old, I was 5'4". 15, I was 5'6". 16, I got up to 5'11", and then got to like 6'1" when I was like 18 years old, around there.
So how tall are you right now?
I am 6 foot 1.5 without shoes. First thing in the morning, because you shrink a little bit throughout the day.
Yeah, yeah. So what's your max reach, like standing reach?
Yeah, so I actually just made a video on testing max reach. I think it's really common for guys to cheat their reach.
Yeah.
With us at THP, me and my partner John Evans, we like to test guys like uh, leaning over like this,
Yeah.
stretch as hard as you can.
Hmm.
But max stretched in shoes is 8'1" on the dot. Um, depending on the shoe, it can get as low as 8 foot and half an inch. And the thickest shoe that I ever wore, it was 8 foot 1.5. But with the shoes I currently jump in, my Kobe's, it's 8 foot 1.
So what's your favorite dunking shoe?
My favorite dunking shoe of all time. Honestly, I just started wearing the Kobe 6 recently, and those have been amazing. So I would put that in my top 3. I also wore Kobe 10s for literally 6 years. I got them when I was 18, and I used them all the way until just this last year. So the grip on them was just absolutely amazing. And then the Zoom Freak 2s, I used those for a solid year, and those were also amazing. But yeah, I basically like anything that's very low to the ground, low top shoe that has amazing grip. Grip is like number 1 for me.
So what's your max reach?
Jumping?
Yeah, jumping reach.
I just PR'd after like 2 years. I touched 12 foot 3.5.
Oh, it was in dunk camp, right?
Yeah, dunk
1
camp.
month ago, probably.
Yeah, like exactly a month ago, I think, actually, on this day.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
It was 12.3.
12 3.5.
That was crazy.
Yeah, man. That put me at a 50.5 inch vertical. Absolutely amazing. Like that. Yeah, it felt surreal. What's crazy is that day I wasn't even feeling like
Very good.
100%. Yeah, like I would say like 2 weeks before dunk camp, I actually had like one of my highest jumps in a session ever. Like I felt amazing, and then I got the fever right like 2 weeks before dunk camp. So when I was at dunk camp, I had
or fever?
just fever, just a
fever.
regular, yeah, or flu. My bad, not fever.
Yeah.
It was the flu. Yeah, I had the flu, and when I went to dunk camp, I had just recovered from the flu, so I wasn't at 100%. So I think I could squeeze out another half inch or inch, ideally on like a perfect day.
So how was Jordan Sutherland doing on that reach test?
Jordan Sutherland, he tested, I think I have it on my phone. I think on the day he tested 12.2, I want to say either 12.1 or 12.2. I
So you
think
beat
I've
him by
seen
1 inch.
Yeah. I think he also wasn't jumping that well that day. I think I've seen him hit 12.2.5, but the Vertec didn't go higher on that day. So I don't know what his like max touch would be.
Do you think you jump higher or he jumps higher?
In terms of vertical, I think
Yeah.
I definitely jump higher.
Because he's taller than you, right?
Yeah, he's probably like half an inch taller, but his reach is massive. Like I have a 8.1 reach. I think his reach is 8'4". So he has 3 inches of reach on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So his wingspan's crazy.
Yeah, literally the craziest that I've seen out of any of the dunkers. Him, and I think Chris Staples also has a bit bigger of a wingspan, but yeah, his arms are ridiculous, man. Like he could be jumping super low and still be able to hit all his dunks.
I feel you.
Yeah. I can't complain though, 'cause my arms are super long too. So gotta count my blessings.
So what's your wingspan?
My wingspan,
Yeah.
fingertip, is 6'6".
6'6".
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah. I have like a really big wingspan. But I have like a long neck. So my reach isn't like with a 6'6" wingspan, guys my height would have a higher reach, but yeah, it makes playing basketball pretty fun, and like playing defense and stuff.
Yeah.
Is good for that.
But the long wingspan makes it hard when you do hand cleans, cleans from the ground, makes it hard.
Yeah, I haven't seen too big of an issue just because my mobility is really good. Like I have really good wrist mobility and stuff like that. And I've been doing Olympic lifts since I was like, I want to say like
Little.
14, 15. My dad, he was actually Olympic weightlifter. So
Oh, for
I
real?
was always, yeah, like I was literally like 5, 6 years old, and I would watch his VHS tapes of him lifting in college, and I'd have like a broomstick. I'd be like trying to do
Wow.
snatches and cleans and all that stuff. So yeah, I've been doing it for a long time.
Was he professional?
No, so this was in Puerto Rico. And he was one of the like top lifters in the country, like in Puerto
Mm-hmm.
Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And he was about to compete in the Pan American Games, which is
Okay.
like it's like Central America, like Mexico, like the top part of South America.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually got a really bad hernia right before the competition, and that kind of cut his career short.
So you actually learned how to weightlift from your dad.
Yeah, yeah. He still gives me a lot of crap. Like I'll post like deadlifts or cleans or something like that on my Instagram story,
Uh-huh.
and he'll message me on Facebook like he's like, "Oh, that looks like a good morning. That's not a
Yeah.
clean. That's just
That's
that you're
ugly.
good. That's the good morning, man." So yeah, he still helps me out with technique stuff all the time.
Yeah, so how tall was he? Is he? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so he's actually my stepdad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes, but he's 5'10".
Mm-hmm.
My biological father, he's actually shorter. He's 5'8".
Okay.
Yeah, and then my mom's like 5'9", 5'10". So that's where I get
Oh,
my height from.
your mom's tall.
Yeah, yeah. All the guys from my mom's side of the family are super tall. Like I have uncles that are like 6'5", 6'6". So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
yeah, super
crazy.
tall. Yeah.
So, what is it like to be a full-time pro dunker in United States?
Really, really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say before I started my business, it was very cutthroat, like in the world of professional dunking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a finite amount of money to be spread out amongst everybody, and to be able to make a good living off of dunking, you have to be like top two or three guys in the world to
Mm-hmm.
make a good living. So before COVID started, that was like the main thing I was doing was dunking, and I was winning a ton of dunk contests like all over the place, but just barely able to make money off of it. Um, and one good thing that came out of COVID is it kind of taught me how to use social media as
Yeah.
a different source of income instead of having to worry about getting a call from some random person to go dunk. And it's also a very unorganized like world. There's a lot of people that owe a lot of people a lot of money in dunking. Like there's a bunch of times like for example, I'm sure you've seen the double up behind the back. It's where I go between the legs behind the back over somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
And that dunk, it was actually sponsored. But the person who got me the sponsorship, like they never paid me back.
Oh,
So
okay.
so that's like an example. Like it happens all the time. So it's something that we're also trying to change. Hopefully, like one of my big goals before I'm finished dunking is to just make everything more official, more organized, make it an actual sport. But it's really difficult to be a pro dunker.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
I think the situation is better here in China than it is in United States.
Yeah.
It's pretty organized here.
Yeah. I wish it was like that, man. I've
Yeah.
heard that before about China.
Hmm.
And I mean you always hear it from the pro dunkers, like they always say like try to go to China. Like there's a lot more money to be made there and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But if it's strictly the US, like you gotta to make a living, like you have to basically just win a lot, and you have to win the big contests like
Hmm.
Dunk King, Dunk League,
Yeah.
City Slam, stuff like that. But The bad part about those big competitions that are really popular is they don't happen very frequently, and it's hard to get
No, it's not.
like sponsors for
Mm.
those kind of big events.
So are they like a once a year thing or?
It used to be. Now it's like a once every 2 years type
Wow,
of thing. Yeah, I would
it's
say
worse.
every year there's a contest where you could win like $10,000. Like that's like the biggest prize
Mhm.
money.
Is it dunk
But
league?
the uh like what like an example is a in the lab like creator classic. Like that was one that
Oh, right.
yeah, that one had a $10,000 prize. But stuff like Dunk League, if you were to win every single event, I think
Mhm.
the max amount you could win is like 50K. Um 50 to 75K, something like that.
Mhm.
Or Dunk King that used to air
Yeah.
a few years ago. That was
Mhm.
100K if you won. Those type of like big money competitions, those ones happen like every 2 or 3 years.
Okay. So have you heard of any Chinese dunker or seen any Chinese dunking videos?
I don't know the guys by name, but
Mhm.
I've seen quite a few of them. The one that really sticks out to me, there's a guy, he's 5'9", he's a one, I think he's 5'9", 5'10", 1 foot jumper. He can like jump with like distance. That's probably one of my favorite guys to watch. Um, and then there is a basketball page I follow. It's like something underdogs, I want to say.
Oh,
Um,
right. It's just
yeah,
underdogs, I think. Yeah.
yeah, I think underdogs, yeah, and they post a lot of like the Chinese dunkers. But yeah, I've been pretty impressed. And then I've also seen apparently there was a dunk competition that's like it's like kind of like dunk league that they did
Mhm.
in China. Um, and I
It's
think
this year,
Jay
right?
Clark, yeah, yeah, and Jay Clark and Jordan Kilgannon, I think they were supposed to make like reaction videos to it or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they showed me some of the clips from that competition, and the stuff that I saw was crazy. Like the stuff that I saw, I don't know if it's even aired yet, so I'm not gonna say what dunks I
Mhm.
saw.
Mhm.
But yeah, the dunks I saw, it could definitely win competitions out here in the States if they hit their dunks. So I've been pretty impressed with what I've seen.
Okay, so if now I show you some of the clips from Chinese dunking, um, and I really love to hear some thoughts or advice from you. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Let me share my computer with you. Right. Can you see it?
Yep.
The first guy I'm gonna show you is this guy. He's considered the best in China right now.
Okay. Wow. Holy cow. What? How tall is he?
I think he's 8'1". I'm 6'1" or 6'2", around your height.
Yo.
Yeah. What do you think about him?
He is nasty. Oh my gosh. Yo, I need you to send me this
Yeah.
after this call, man. That's crazy. I don't even have advice for him. That wow.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is I was actually talking with John. He's the guy my business partner, and he's
Uh-huh.
the guy who writes all my workouts.
Okay.
Um and I was talking to him and I was like, yo, like a lot of the dunkers right now are getting like older, like guys like Jordan Kilgannon, Jay Clark, Gita
Mhm.
Pui. Like they're starting to get like a little bit older and
Yeah.
they don't jump as high as they used to.
Mhm.
Um and they're right hand jumpers. And I'm a left right hand
Yeah,
dunker.
him too.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. I was literally just telling John, like, yo, like I haven't seen anybody that's like left, right handed that's like on that level anymore. And
Mhm.
this guy's on that level.
Yeah,
This
okay.
guy is definitely on that level, man. That's
Man,
crazy.
he's gonna be thrilled to hear that.
Yeah. No, he could hang with anybody out here in the States just from
Yeah.
seeing those clips.
Okay,
That's
so
sick.
this is the first guy. I'm gonna show you the second one. This short dunker.
Wow. How tall is he?
I think he's 5'9" something. Or 5'10", I don't know.
Ooh, the scoops, man. People love doing the scoops out there. No way.
This one's good, right?
What? You know who he reminds me of?
Uh-huh.
Is Kroha. You know who
Oh,
Kroha is?
Kroha. Yeah, I know.
He
The white
reminds
guy.
me just like him. Yeah. Wow, that under both over someone, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he tried 20 times before this one, before hitting this
Yeah.
one.
So that dunk, I hit it for my second time ever.
Mhm.
2 days ago. Literally 2 days ago, I hit it for my second time ever. I really struggled with that dunk. So
Oh,
I
did
got
you hit it with your left or right hand?
left hand. Yeah. Literally
Oh,
exactly how he did it. So
I think
I gotta get some
left
tips
hand
from these guys, man.
is harder.
It's so for double ups,
Mhm.
I find left hand easier.
Mhm.
Just because of your body positioning.
Yeah.
When you jump, if you're a left right jumper, you naturally spin counterclockwise.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, So all the momentums you can like put it into your left hand. To
Mhm.
do a right hand double up, you have to spin clockwise. So it's like you have to
Yeah.
spin against the grain.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got to jump a little bit higher to
Mhm.
go like right hand double ups.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you the third one. I think he's got the highest hop.
Wow. He's got bounce. Can I see the
Yeah.
first dunk again? I didn't get to catch it. Wow. He's nasty. How tall is he?
6.
6 foot?
Yeah.
Dang,
Yeah,
yo.
he's got massive hops.
These guys have 360 scoops down. Like, that's crazy.
They loved it. You know, Chinese
Yeah.
dunkers love the scoop.
Yeah. Bro, the first dunker,
Mhm.
I'm still shook. That was
Really?
crazy. That was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the best in China right now.
Yeah. I gotta see more of him, man.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Okay, I'll send you more clips.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
send me everything. One thing about me is I will always be a dunk nerd. Like I love watching dunks. If there's clips out there, like
Mhm.
I've seen most of them, man. So yeah, send me all the stuff you want.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So, when did you actually decide to be a dunker?
So growing up, I always liked the dunking part of basketball.
Mhm.
Basketball was my passion, but like I loved the NBA dunk contest. And I actually didn't know that there was a pro dunking world. So I didn't watch like Team Flight Brothers and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
around
that
the
was
age
old
of
school.
yeah, and then around the age of I want to say it was like right when I turned 16. Um I came across a video of Jordan Kilgannon and it was him
Oh,
doing the crown dunk where he puts
yeah.
the arms in the rim backwards. Uh And I saw that and I was like, whoa, like it was just completely different from anything I had ever seen before. Like just
Yeah.
blew everything out of the water. And then I went and found him on YouTube and I put his videos from oldest to newest.
Mhm.
And his oldest video was him dunking on like a 9 foot rim and like barely able to dunk 10 feet,
Yeah.
which was the level I was at. And it all he did was like, and then I just saw on his comments and like articles, all he did was dunk every day. And I was like, okay, if I'm the same age doing the same dunks, that means when I get older, I can be doing dunks like the crown.
Yeah.
Like it just the math made sense to me for some reason. Like I
Yeah.
was just like, it's logical. Like I can do this. And at around that time, it seemed like basketball wasn't gonna be like working out. Like I was riding the bench on the
Mhm.
basketball team, wasn't
So,
getting any like
when was this? High
This
school?
was high school. It was like my junior year of high
Mm-hmm.
school when I was
Mm-hmm.
16. Uh, and so I wasn't getting any like scholarship offers, and I just started practicing dunking every day. I found that there was such a thing as pro dunking, so I found the Team Flight Brothers YouTube. I found Dunkademics,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started watching hours and hours of those videos every day. Like literally, like I would wake up and I was just watching dunk videos until I fell asleep. And somewhere along there, I was just like, I'm gonna be a pro dunker one day. Like I just decided just
Mm-hmm.
from how fun it was. And as I started uploading my videos on YouTube and Instagram, Jordan Kilgannon, he started giving me advice. And this
Mm-hmm.
is when I was 16. And at this point, I couldn't even windmill yet. I was just doing one handers, two handers, and like 360s or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And me being that kid, barely able to dunk, Jordan Kilgannon, he saw my videos and he was like, if you keep working hard at this every single day, you have potential to be the best dunker in the
Yeah.
world one day. Jordan Kilgannon told me that at age 16, and that was all I needed. I was
Yeah,
like,
that means a lot.
bet I'm gonna I'm going for it. And yeah, I just decided I was gonna pursue that
Mhm.
as and take it as far as I can.
So do you think you're on top of the world right now? Dunking world?
So before I answer that question,
Uh-huh.
there was a time when I thought I was the best dunker in the world. It was 2019, right after I hit 360 behind the back between the legs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was winning a bunch of dunk contests. This was around the time I went to China. Uh and at that time I was like, I'm the best dunker in the world. Like nobody can touch me. I was talking smack to all the dunkers. Like I was getting into beef with like a bunch of guys and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And somewhere along the way, like around like 2020, like during COVID and kind of last year, I was just like, this doesn't matter. Like being the best in the world doesn't really matter. Like all that matters is just I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started focusing on that purely. And I stopped caring about what people were saying, who's the best dunker in the world, because that used to be my goal. Like I had a hit list. I was like, okay, I gotta get better than this dunker. Boom, became better than him. Who's the next dunker on the list? Boom, became better than him. And that's what I was driven by. I was just competition and trying to beat everybody.
So who was
But
on
it
the top of the list?
Jordan Kilgannon, of
Yeah.
course. That's definitely the top. My top three at the time, because this was around 2016, 2017. It was
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Kilgannon, Guy Dupuis, Lee Peck.
Uh,
That was like the big three. Like I was like, all
yeah.
right, those are the guys that I'm gonna try to be better than. Uh, so I stopped looking at it that way. And the reason why is because it was just really bad for my mental health. Like
Yeah.
it's a cool mentality from the outside, but like it can really take a toll.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped caring about it, and what's crazy is when I stopped caring about it, I actually started getting like way better at dunking. Um, and this last year, like the last like 6 months, like my dunking just took off. Like
Mm-hmm.
my just the type of training I was doing, like I could tell I was going to my sessions and like before, like I would be like right here on the rim on a good day, I'd be like right here. Now there were certain dunks I was like looking inside the rim
Mm-hmm.
when I was dunking or doing a high check, and I was like, I'm kind of jumping a little differently. Like something
Yeah.
feels different. And then I was starting to hit dunks like 360 under both. Like I could hit that every single session.
Yeah.
Uh, and that used to be the dunk for me. I was like, 360 under both is the hardest dunk to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm able to do it every session. So I was like, okay, something feels different. Then I went to dunk camp a month ago,
Mm-hmm.
and at dunk camp just went crazy. Tested the 50-inch vertical, hit 360 behind the back between the legs in the session. And then in the dunk show, I just like absolutely demolished it.
Yeah.
And when the dunk show ended, there was like kids coming up to me because after the dunk camp, like everybody goes onto the court. They try to get you
Yeah.
to like sign autographs, take
Mm-hmm.
pictures with you and stuff like that. And there were kids coming up to me and they were like, "Hey, like you carried the show, man. Like you were like my favorite dunker out there." And I'd be like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." And like everybody like kept coming up and saying that to me, and I was like, oh, I guess I did. I guess I did pretty good. Like
Yeah.
they're pretty good in the show. And then Billy, the guy who films for Dunkademics,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think the next day he was editing and he was just like, bro, you were like head and shoulders way above everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
this is like, we got Jordan Coganin, we got Jay Clark, we got Jordan Sutherland in the dunk
Mm-hmm.
show, who are all at, amongst the top in the world. And Billy was like, it wasn't even close. Like you were jumping higher than everybody. The
Yeah.
level of dunks you were hitting were better than everybody. And then I was like, oh, okay, like that's cool to hear. It makes my ego feel good.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the videos went up and like everybody's been saying it recently. Like I've been on the comments, like in my
Yeah.
YouTube when I get my dunks posted, like I'm seeing it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I think it's cool. I don't want to make the claim I'm the best.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I am just trying to be better than myself. But I do like competition. If I go to a session, I am trying to be the best in that session. And
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'm at the top right now. I don't think I can't think of anybody else that is doing the level of dunks and jumping as high as I am. But
Mm-hmm.
you never know, man. Like there's a lot of guys out there that are really good that don't get recognition. Like T Flying High.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good.
He is, I would say, on my level. But he doesn't do all these shows and stuff like that, and so he doesn't get the recognition.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably the only guy I would say that's really hanging with me in terms of jump height, being able to do a crazy amount of dunks. Sutherland, Jordan Sutherland, 1 foot god. He's the other guy that's right there
Mm-hmm.
with me. Aside from that, I don't think anybody else could hang with the three of us.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, you want to tell us about THP, the training program?
Yeah. So THP, it stands for Translating Human Performance.
Mm-hmm.
And then the website is THP Strength. The reason it has strength in the name is because I made a company called Exceptional Strength.
Mm-hmm.
My friend John had a company called Translating Human Performance, so we just combined them, and it's THP Strength. Okay. How it came about in 2018, because pro dunking isn't good at paying the bills. I had a regular job.
Mm-hmm.
It was at a
What
kind of
did
like
you do?
it was I worked at like the shoe section at a store. It was like a athletic type store, and I worked at the shoe section.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I'd go in the morning. There would be a truck. I'd just get shoe boxes, stack them up, and then just help people sell them their
Find your
shoes.
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was working that job, and I had to quit the job because they didn't let me get time off to do a dunk contest. So I quit the job, and then the dunk contest gets canceled, or they send another person instead of me to do the contest. So now I had no job and no dunk contest. So I started selling like online kind of programs through my Instagram just to make a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's also around the time I met John Evans. John Evans, he worked for Duke. He was a track coach at Duke University. He also worked for I forgot the place he was at. He interned at Altus, which coaches like Olympic track and field athletes. And then he had a job at like an athletic like human performance lab type of thing. Athletic lab. That's the name of the job he had. So I met him and he helped
So he's doing he was doing pretty much what I'm doing right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a strength and conditioning coach, and I'm also an expert in sports performance.
Yeah, like pretty much exactly that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had a ton of experience working with athletes, and we get on a call, and in the call, he blows my mind with how smart he was about jump training. And he was asking me about my training, what do I do? And he was basically like, yo, you pro dunkers train really poorly. Like you guys have terrible
That's what I
training.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, really? Like that's crazy. And then he's like, yeah, like, and then he basically explained how like track and field athletes train,
Yeah.
specifically the ones he worked with.
Mhm.
And
You gotta
excuse
organize
me.
your periodization like really,
Yeah.
really well.
So yeah. So he just explained to me how they train and stuff like that. And he told me, he's like, imagine what would happen if you got a pro dunker to train well, that actually
Yeah.
uses proper training principles,
Mhm.
periodization, all
Mhm.
that stuff. Like what could happen? And just listening to him talk, like I just knew he knew what he was talking about.
Mhm.
I've always been like a scientist at heart. um I've loved learning. I went to college for exercise science.
Mhm.
So I know when somebody like knows what they're talking about.
Mhm.
And I told him, I was like, look, my knees are really really bad right now.
Mhm.
uh I have one more kind of like sponsor post I got to do, and after that I'm ready. Like let's train, let's get rid of my knee pain, and then like I'm down. Let's do this thing. So
It was a jumper's knee or like a patellar tendon thing.
so it was patellar tendinopathy
Mhm.
at the distal part of the tendon. So it was like you're showing on the camera, like right there. So this is the
Yeah.
tendon. Yeah. Um
Same thing I have right now.
yeah. So I had that pain for years. Like I got it when I was, I think, 14 years old, and I was 20 years old at the time when I met him. So I had
Mhm.
the pain for literally like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Um
You gotta do knee extension, like seated knee extension. That works well with knee pain.
so so he found these two researchers, Jill
Mhm.
Cook and Ebony Rio,
Mhm.
and they do a ton of like tendinopathy research.
Yeah.
And so he used their methods on me, and in the course of 6 months he got me to be able to jump pain free. The pain wasn't completely gone because
Mhm.
it doesn't, it takes longer to completely get rid of tendinopathy, but it
Mhm.
got to the point where I was jumping pain free for the first time in my life. So up until this point, every time I had ever jumped there was pain. And that just, it got me completely sold. I was like, all right, you know what you're doing, like let's keep going with this.
Yeah.
um and then from there he just continued coaching me. I improved a lot. And then, like I said earlier, I had started like coaching people on my own.
Mhm.
And right before COVID, we decided to combine because he was letting me use like his like training software and his programs and stuff like that to coach people. And he was like, I basically went up to him. I was like, hey, like if we combine, like I feel like we could actually like make something really good, like really
Yeah.
big.
Mhm.
So we decided to join forces right before COVID. I made the entire website. And of course, during COVID, there all the gyms locked down.
Mhm.
So me and John, we ended up writing like a ton of body weight training cycles, like
Mhm.
periodized body weight training. Um, and yeah, a bunch of people signed up, and eventually gyms opened back up, and we just kept coaching guys. A lot of our guys ended up getting like really, really good results.
Mhm.
Uh, and that's kind of like the main thing we do is the online coaching. It's done really well for us.
It's great. So what is your training like? Your personal
So
training like?
yeah, so at the moment, I just came off of dunk camp. So dunk camp is like the peak, right? That's what I was
Yeah,
training
yeah.
for all year. Um, right now it is just very general,
Uh-huh.
and we are focused on accumulating volume.
Mhm.
So we're actually messing around with stuff we've never done before. Today's workout, I did 20 reps of back
Okay.
squat with 225, which is not fun. Not fun at
Yeah.
all.
So the
Um,
aim is hypertrophy right now?
yeah. So a lot of people like they ask me like, why are we doing such high reps? Because you typically hear to jump higher, you got to lift heavy, low reps. But the reason we're doing such high reps is just to build up my work capacity, and to increase hypertrophy, and eventually this is like super general, and then we'll work on max strength, probably like a month or two down the line. But yeah, right now I'm doing like each week is accumulating more volume. So like the first week of my training cycle, I did reps of, I believe it was 15. Second week, I repeated 15 rep squats. This week I was supposed to do 17 reps, but I wanted to see if I could get 20. And then the other lifts I'm focusing on is actually sumo deadlift. One of my big goals for this year is to deadlift over 500 pounds. And we're adding sumo deadlift for variety, just because I've been deadlifting consistently for the last like 6 months, which was I think a big reason I increased my vertical. But we at THP, we don't like to do the same lifts for too long because you'll run into something.
Get used to it.
Yeah. So I believe it's called accommodation, but you basically stop getting you basically stop seeing gains from it. So we're always switching it up, like adding variety in some kind of way. So instead of doing deadlifts, we can do deadlifts with a pause. We can do deadlifts with a deficit. Or in my case right now, we're doing sumo deadlifts for a bit just to add some variety. So that's kind of the second lift we're focusing on. And then I'm keeping power clean or clean pulls in there. Eventually we're gonna build that up to power cleans in later cycles, and then hang cleans. And then I'm also doing resisted sprints 2 times a week, and then just like posterior chain work, like glute ham raise, hip thrust, and something that I think a lot of people neglect that has helped me a lot is calf work. I do calves every single workout. Yeah. Whether it be right now I'm doing like single leg Smith machine calf raise, and then seated calf raise are the two that I've been focusing on. But yeah, that's kind of like an overview of what my training's looking like, and eventually we'll progress to the fun stuff in a month or two.
So in terms of dunking, how many dunks do you attend like every session?
So that's something that has changed a lot over the years. When I first started dunking, I was dunking every day, like for 2 or 3 hours, probably. It's a big reason I got the knee pain. But right now I'm only dunking once a week. And it's probably, I play basketball after my dunk session, so I'll usually dunk. I'll do about 20 dunks, and then I'll play basketball. But when I play basketball, I'm dunking literally every single play. So that's a lot of jumps in there as well. I usually play like 2 or 3 games. So all in all, my sessions are probably 40 to 50 jumps. I would say. When I have events coming up,
how many of those are max?
It's difficult to say because it's different when I'm playing basketball. Basketball, I'm at like, of those 50 jumps, maybe only 20 of them will be max effort. But on a legit session, like let's say I have a dunk contest coming up in 1 month, I'm not going to be playing basketball leading up to that contest. My sessions then, they'll probably be, I want to say, an average of an hour to an hour and a half. So that usually is about 50 jumps, and 40 of those are max effort. Like my first jump, I always build up from 10% to 100%. So first jump is 10%, second jump 20%. And then once I get to 100% effort, it's every single jump I'm trying to jump as high as I can.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it takes a lot of endurance. Like a lot of guys aren't used to that. Like people will reach their peak early in the session and then kind of drop off. But I'm yeah, I'm like hitting like high level dunks like pretty much the whole time.
So what do you usually do between two dunks? I mean, there's a couple minutes,
Yeah.
one, two.
Uh I rest probably about a minute or a minute and
Mhm,
a half in between my jumps. Um if I'm working on something really technical, I'm resting as much as possible. Like I'm going over to the camera, I'm looking at my attempts. After I look at my attempts, I might sit in the same spot and like do the hand technique for
mhm,
whatever dunk I'm trying to do. Uh, that's for the really technical stuff. That's like if I'm trying to hit like a 360 kamikaze or behind the back between the legs, like I'm super locked in. I'm not
mhm,
talking to anybody. I don't want anybody to talk to me. But if it's like regular dunks, like if I'm just doing like a 360 East Bay or 360 behind the back, usually that's pretty lighthearted. Like I'll do the dunk, I'll shoot around a little bit,
mhm.
like think about the technique, and then like I'm just like walking around, and then I'll go do the attempt.
Okay. So let's see. What about your thoughts on low rim and high rim?
Uh, are you saying like really low rim,
Yeah,
like seven?
those like you know how you get um really low rims on one side of LA Fitness or 24-hour fitness.
Oh, so you're
Uh,
saying like rims that are like 2 or 3 inches lower,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
3 inches lower.
Okay, okay. So this is it's a hot topic.
Yeah.
A lot of dunkers aren't they don't disclose their rim heights, and I would say most dunkers are dunking on lower rim heights. I used to be one of those dunkers, and it's actually I think one of the reasons I got a lot better at dunking when I was from age 16 till I mean recent probably till like 19 yeah, to like 19, 16 and 19, I was dunking on 9.8 and 9.9 like almost
Mhm,
exclusively. Like in a month, I would dunk 3 times on 9.8, 9.9 and then like one 10-foot session like each month basically.
mhm.
Um and it allowed me to practice a lot of dunks that I didn't have the bounce for. And I got the technique, and then I mean now I can do those dunks now that I have the bounce. The issue is I wasn't disclosing the rim heights. So
Mhm.
I would do a dunk on 9.8 or 9.9. For example, the 360 behind the back between the legs. When I very first did it, that was on 9.9, and I didn't put the rim height. Uh, and then this really big page, Hoop Mixtape, he
Mhm.
made an entire video exposing me
Yeah.
for dunking on low rims. And that was bad. It was a bad time. Um,
Mhm.
but I basically made a YouTube video being like just disclosing everything, like just being honest, being like, hey, like I have been dunking on 9.9, 9.8, 9.9, 9.10. I haven't been disclosing the rim heights. Sorry, but from now on, I'm gonna put the rim heights on every single dunk that I do,
Yeah.
which I've kept up doing until now.
Mhm.
Um,
So,
and
do you actually measure every rim before you dunk it?
yeah, I try to.
Okay.
Um, I think that's really important to do because you can't improve something that you can't measure. And if you're dunking on a height that you don't know what it is, how are you going to measure your progress?
Yeah.
Uh, and this used to happen to me all the time when I was little, like, or when I was younger. Like, I might had been feeling really bouncy one day,
Mhm.
but now thinking back, I was like, wait a minute, that rim might have been like 9.9, and I just didn't know, and I was dunking on it.
Mhm.
Um, I will say now from having measured so many hoops, I can kind of tell. Like I'm
Yeah, which one's
notorious.
lower?
I'm notoriously good for guessing the height of a rim within like
Yeah.
half an inch. Like it's like a funny bet. Like me and my friend will
Yeah.
do like, yeah, 9, 10 and a half, measure it, boom, I was right. So I can usually tell around what height a rim is, but yeah, I try to just measure everything just because like I said earlier, I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday. So I just
Mhm.
want to know exactly what I'm dunking on, what height I can do a dunk on.
Okay, cool. Um, so any new dunk are you are working on?
At the moment, I am not dunking on any new dunks. My main goals, dunking wise for this year is to the 360 kamikaze. I hit that on 99. I want to hit that on 10 feet. That's a really, really big goal of mine. And the 360 behind the back between the legs, I hit that on 99 3/4. The side of the rim was 910, and I hit it on the side of the rim, so technically 910. But that's another dunk that I want to hit on 10 feet as well. And then some new dunks that haven't been done before that I really would love to hit. I think the bounce dunk. I think if I focused one session on it, I could hit it. So that's a big one.
So who's the guy that's closest to make the dunk?
The closest attempts I've seen is Anthony Hamilton and Dan Gross. Dan Gross is I think Anthony Hamilton's was on 99. Dan Gross, in person, I saw him trying it on 10 feet and got really close. So I would say
Dan Gross got massive hops.
He's crazy, man. One of the most naturally gifted athletes that I've ever seen, man. Like at Dunk League, he was just jumping way higher than everybody.
Okay. So top 3 dunkers in your opinion?
Top 3 dunkers.
Excluded yourself.
Oh man, that's really tough. In no particular order, I would put Sutherland 100%. He's in that category. T flying high, I'm putting him in there. I've seen him dunk in person. I've seen him dunk with Chris Staples in a session. Yeah, in terms of consistency and bounce and the dunks he's doing, I don't think anybody's touching him. He just doesn't do contest. And then the third spot, it's a throw up between Kilgannon and T Curry. I would put those guys in there. Yeah, I think that's a solid 3.
So what about Dan Gross?
Dan Gross, he's good, but he doesn't have the consistency that the other guys have. He's also injured right now. I think he's dealing. Yeah, he's actually with THP. We're helping rehab him. Okay. He's been dealing with a back issue for the last couple of months.
In low back.
So the lower back. So that's a big reason I haven't put him in there. Just because I'm saying, like, if there was a contest today, like who could do well in there? But
I feel you.
On his best day though, Dan Gross could give anybody a run for their money, man.
Okay. So let's say if you were to compete in a dunk contest, what would your strategy be?
Ooh. So my strategy would be for all 6 of my dunks to be better than anybody else's dunks. I have my strategy open up with something that I can punch first try. That's usually like a windmill over somebody or East Bay over somebody. Second dunk, I would probably 360 East Bay. Third dunk, 360 behind the back. Fifth, then I would go 360 under both, and then Tetris, either Tetris between the legs or Tetris 180. And that under both over someone, I'm learning it, man. That's about to be a dunk that's gonna be a contest dunk for me.
Yeah, because sometimes the judges love dunks over people. It just gets the crowd going.
I personally do not like dunks over people, just because
you get the
push off. Anytime a ball's here or here, it's a push off every single time. I don't care what the dunker says.
Yeah, it's a push off. Yeah,
it's a push off every time. So I don't personally like them, but I play by whatever's gonna win. Like
Mhm.
if I a lot of the old school dunkers, like Guy Dupuis, like guys like that, they hate push offs and they'll call you out in the contest. They'll get mad at you for pushing
Oh,
off.
really?
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I don't care. If I gotta push to win, I'm gonna push.
Okay, so now there are tons of people watching our podcast. Would you mind answering some of their questions?
Yeah, I'd love to.
所以大家啊，现在给你们一点时间啊，你们如果有愿意向这个 Isaiah Rivera 提问的话，迅速打在屏幕上，而且最好你送一个礼物，这样我才能看得见你，好吧？我们请他回答几个问题，然后再这个结束这个速度啊，你们得送一点东西啊。Okay, do you stay up at night, like late night?
I do not. Sleep is one of the most important things you can do as an
Yeah.
athlete.
Mhm.
Uh, I try to go to bed around, I think around 11 p.m. is usually when I go to bed. And then I get like 9 to 10 hours of sleep every single night. I do have a problem with waking up at like 4 a.m. and it takes a long time to fall back asleep. But
Yeah.
that's like a couple times a week, but I'm usually really good about getting enough sleep.
So yeah, there's a guy asking where he could get THP clothes, like t-shirts and stuff.
We actually have a website. I don't know
Mhm.
if you'd be able to uh like show them the link or anything like that, but
Mhm.
we have an online store where you can get you can like buy shirts and stuff.
THPstrength.com.
It's on there. It's on there.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll tell
Yeah,
him.
for sure.
How do you sign up for THP? Just go to their website. 你就go上他的网站就好了啊。
Yeah. Yeah, you just go to thpstrength.com.
Mhm.
And we actually have two different services. One of them's training only, which you fill out a form and then based on the information you give us, we write like a training plan for you.
Mhm.
And then we have full service, and it explains it all on the website, but full service, like you get a group chat with me personally and
Mhm.
John Evans. And I don't know if anybody knows Austin Burke. He's like really big in my videos and stuff, but
Mhm.
they got on a group chat with us and yeah, we got phone calls, text messages, write your training, all that stuff.
Yeah, cool. Let's see. So what would you do if you hit a bottleneck? Like if you're here and you're not seeing any improvements on yourself.
Man, I was just in a 2-year bottleneck.
Yeah.
Uh it is all part of the process, man.
Yeah.
And even even before last time I PR'd 2020, hit a 48-inch vertical. Before that, before I started working with John Evans, people were commenting saying, "Oh, Isaiah has reached his like genetic limit. Like he's
Mhm.
not getting any better." So it happens, man. Or with lifting, it happens as well. The really big things you got to work on. One is staying healthy. Whatever injuries you're currently dealing with, focus on that first and stop trying to train through your injuries
Yeah.
because you're going to save so much time in the long run. And that's
Mhm.
where most of the plateaus I've come across is because of injuries. So that's number one. Number two is, and this is my now motto. I just say this every day to myself is just show up. a lot of people, they'll like lose motivation. Um, they won't feel like going to a gym on a certain day. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you showing up day in and day out. And that's why I always say, just show up. If you don't feel like training, it's okay. Just put the keys in the car and go to the gym.
Yeah, go
and
to
just
the
step inside the gym, and you've already done the hardest part. And just try to be a little bit better than you were before. And before you know it, you're gonna break through a plateau. And then the third thing is you have to have good training. Good training breaks plateaus. That's what good training does.
Are you dealing with any injuries right now?
At the moment, I am actually not dealing with any injuries. I was dealing with like a big like hip issue for a while, but that's under control. Lower back's under control. So yeah, pretty healthy at the moment.
Okay. So any chance you will come to China to dunk, to compete?
I want to, man. I don't know who I have to talk to. But
Probably me.
yeah. yeah. I am completely open for it. Like, and I actually haven't competed in a long time. I retired for a bit, but I'm looking to get back into competing. So if I'm able to do that in China, I would absolutely love to. Which
Okay.
I
That's
think
great.
I think there could be. I've heard rumors about a possibility of like going there soon. So hopefully that turns out into something.
Okay. Hope I'll see you then. See you in
Yeah, for sure,
person.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Okay, cool. So now we have a little over 800 people right now watching the podcast.
Sweet.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to say to your Chinese fans? I'll translate for you.
Uh yeah. First off, I think it's really cool that we have so many fans in China. I feel like super grateful for that, and I guess just let them know that it means a lot.
OK，他就说这个感谢你们一起来看这个节目，然后这个他是非常感激的，他也没有想到自己在中国能有这么多的粉丝，然后就很感谢你们。
And then the second thing, I'm sure a lot of them are really interested in jumping higher, maybe wanting to be a dunker themselves. Uh, Something I want them to know is don't let anything set limits on you, whether it be your genetics, your upbringing, anything like that. I wasn't genetically gifted for jumping. I was super injury prone, all growing up and stuff like that. And all I did was just showed up every day and tried to be a little bit better than I was before. And if you do something every single day for a few years, there is no doubt in my mind you're going to be good at it.
OK，然后这个Isaiah 说了啊，如果你真的很喜欢扣篮，很喜欢这个运动的话，就是你不要听别人说你这个不行啊什么的，这是一个比较励志的啊。就是他之前也是受伤了很多年，然后一直是这个膝盖不舒服，但是他从来没有放弃，包括前2年他一直在一个瓶颈期，没有怎么提高，但是你看现在这个还是很明显的提高了自己的水平。所以就是不要让任何事情来阻挡你去追求你喜欢的东西的这个脚步。All right, cool.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so thank you. It's
Yeah,
an
thank
honor
you,
to have
man.
you here.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. This is a really cool experience.
Yeah, maybe we can do it again some other time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm down to do this anytime, man. I have a podcast too, so if you ever want to hop on that as well,
Yeah, sure.
I think that would be awesome.
All right, cool. So I guess this is it. I'm gonna go lift right after we have this podcast.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Talking about the motivation, man.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the training day. Nothing stops the
Yep.
training day.
Yep. All about discipline.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank
lift.
you. Yeah, you too.
Yep.
Now you already done your lift. 好，那今天就先到这里啊，咱们下期再见，拜拜。拜拜。下期连谁还没想好呢，可能连一个这个清华大学的博士，有可能啊，有可能连一个清华大学的体能的博士，然后是国家队冬季2项的主教练，想聊聊这个。下一期就跟扣篮可能关系不太那什么了，就是纯体能吧。聊聊他对篮球啊、扣篮的这个一些看法，体能上的一些看法，就是听不同的人来想这个来讲他们对这个训练啊不同项目的训练的看法，其实挺有意思的。因为每个人，你如果老一直在一个地儿抠某一个东西的话，就有时候会走的太小了，走的太窄。有时你需要别人来帮你一把，需要外边的人来看，因为他们看这个东西的角度跟你不一样啊，有时候会给你一些不一样的这个视野和看法。今天是不是还可以？鲍老师能聊吗？我现在翻翻评论啊，鲍老师能聊吗？不能。嗯，连坤，为什么连坤？连坤坤Sutherland 呢？不知道，我比较想连的就这哥俩，一个这个 Connor Barth，还有一个这哥俩比较有意思。然后等再下一期再请另外一个国家队的，不能说老师吧，因为他们其实比我小，就是朋友吧，请另外一个国家队的体能的教练，长期干体能的。当然，他现在跟队去欧洲打比赛去了。白乔丹，哎，其实我挺想练白乔丹的。白乔丹这个扣篮扣这么多年，我觉得很厉害，一直是很稳定、很持久。所以你别说，我还真挺想练白乔丹的。但是就是看看有没有机会吧，看看有没有机会。白乔丹真的是老革命了，最早这一波扣篮的人，然后他现在还能接着扣，之前好多人都不扣了，都没了。像那个基杜佩，然后像这个呃叫什么来着？T 哎哎 T Dub T 吧，你看 T Dub 这人都不扣了，好多人都已经没了，连杜峰，我操，连杜峰都出事儿了。没有连的不是那个摔跤的那个摔跤队的，连的是那个国乒的。但是他们因为这队伍太强了，有好多限制，就是你不能，很多时候你不能出镜啊，然后不能谈关于乒乓球的这些训练，因为国乒毕竟是这种世界之师，他到哪儿都是拿冠军的。连 Slim，哎，Slim 也挺好玩的啊，其实连我感觉 Slim 人挺 nice 的，其实可以连一下 Slim。国内的这些国际的，你看最强的我都连完了，以后再怎么连也不能 连那种稍差的了。对，就是最好的我都已经连过了，没有什么，没有扣篮这一块，我觉得就没有比他更厉害的。这个他刚刚自己不也说了吗？最近这状态极好，对吗？世界上最强的我都连过了，对你现在在这个高度了，你就最好不要往底下走，你一直人要往上走，你不能往下走。你在亚真太厉害了，你看2年没进步，一定要相信科学。他的教练就是搞田径的，为什么我们现在这个训练做周期都像田径运动员这么做？因为是有效的，是非常有效的。他的这个教练，杜克大学的田径队的教练，体能教练啊，杜克大学的这个田径队的体能教练，然后帮他设计的这个体能上边的这些训练，所以就是瓶颈期有可能很长，有可能非常长，但是我觉得要有耐心，然后不要太急于求成。咱们中国人主要最大的问题还是急于求成，太着急了。就包括前2天这个减肥这个事儿，不是也弄得特别火吗？那个不是有一个什么减肥1个月减30斤，然后给你一个表，一堆人去试，就这东西跟训练一样，这个你这个一定要有耐心啊，你不能没有耐心。很多人就是完全就是没有任何耐心，然后这个老想急于求成，老想3个月就解决问题，2个月解决问题，2个月提升10公分弹跳，3个月提升10公分弹跳，这不太可能。你看这个刚刚连他不也说了吗？他都2年了，他都2年3年了，才提升了这么一点点。当然，他这个水平已经很高了啊，就是要相信这个过程，然后相信这个自己是在成长的，不要太急于求成啊。你这个今天练了，明天练了，然后你后天突然状态下降了，这很正常。就是大家要知道，你这个往什么地方走的时候，它肯定是波动的，它总会这样的，它是这样走的，你不可能一下就一猛子就怼上去，不可能。所以很多人就讲，哎，我今天下降了，我就再练一点，然后就又差，那最后你训练的时候你就变成这样了，哎，就下来了。其实真正都是这种上升，有点耐心吧。我觉得大家都应该有一些耐心。嗯，普遍我很多的这个朋友啊，然后学生都有点着急，都有一些这个急于求成。我觉得不用急于求成，时间有的是，然后你尽量的把自己这个把自己的伤病管理做好，然后不要急于求成，对吧？2年他这个坎儿都能迈过去，你们要是连2个月都坚持不了，怎么能变得更强呢？嗯，以赛亚的教练，刚刚以赛亚跟我说了，说这个如果我能去上他的那个博客，可以一块儿聊一聊。如果但是我上他的博客肯定不是用这个平台了，就肯定不是用这个腾讯的这个了，所以肯定没法给你们直播了。上他的那个就上正常那什么吧，跟他一块儿这个